Welcome to Alpine Daily for Thursday. As you know, this week we've been talking about the persecuted church and looking at some of the major persecuting nations around the world and praying for some of the people who live there. And what I want to do first before we look at two of those nations is just help you understand why persecution happens. And Jesus explained this in John chapter 15, verses 18 through 20. And you might want to pause the video for a minute and read that verse to yourself, and then I'll make a couple of comments on it. So Jesus explains, he says, "You do not belong to the world. That's why the world hates you." And he reminded them, he said, "If they persecuted me, then they will persecute you also." Essentially, the world is in rebellion against God and his purposes. And so because we represent God's sovereignty and the lordship of Jesus, the world is against us. The world wants to be ultimate. All the powers of government and religion in the world want our loyalty, and we can only give that loyalty to Christ. And therefore, the world will hate us for that stance. Now, I want to show you a couple of countries. The first is Uzbekistan. You can see that Uzbekistan is surrounded by other countries that are among the world's greatest persecutors. And here's what we learn about Uzbekistan from worldwatchlist.us. It says, "The strict monitoring of all Christian activities has intensified even in the Orthodox Church. Outreach, training, and youth activities are forbidden in unregistered churches, and in the last 10 years, only one new church was granted registration. Private Bible study meetings are always in danger of being closed down. Churches are raided and literature and other materials confiscated. Printing or importing Christian literature is prohibited. Christians are fined or given short-term prison sentences. When brought to court, fair treatment is not ensured." Now, why don't you pause the video for a moment and pray for some of the things that are happening in Uzbekistan. Well, welcome back, and now we're going to take a look at Yemen. It's number 8 on the list. You can see that Yemen here is surrounded by Eritrea, Somalia, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, some of the other nations on the top 15 persecuting nations. And here's what's going on in Yemen. Islam is the state religion and source of legislation. A few hundred Christians from a Muslim background meet secretly as they face persecution from authorities, family, and extremist Islamic groups. In the north, no church buildings are allowed. There is some religious freedom for foreigners, but evangelism is prohibited. There are 4 official churches in Aden, that's the capital city, for the several thousands of Christian expats and refugees living in the country, but large numbers have left as a result of the Arab Spring riots. And down here again, you can see some things you can pray for. Why don't you pause the video and take a moment to pray for Yemen. Thanks for praying with us this week for the persecuted church, and I hope this becomes a regular habit for you, not just something that you do once in a while, but something that you do daily. So have a great day. Thanks for being with us today.